So the H1B visa topic is quite hot these days, and Kristi Noem was saying that they were going forward with them. If you are not aware, I already made a video on my Body Language Guy channel about Donald Trump doubling down on welcoming foreign workers with H1B visas, and because apparently there's not enough talent in the United States as in local talent, and it needs to be all the talent in the world be brought into the United States, and people are really angry about this. So this is on my Body Language Guy channel. You are right now on my Power Pundit channel, which is my American politics channel, so make sure to subscribe to this one as well. But looking at this, let's see what Kristi Noem, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, has to say about H1B. Let's watch the clip, and then we can make an assessment of what is the big deal.
What is the administration's position on these visas?
Now, we're going to keep using our visa programs. We're just going to make sure that they have integrity, that we're actually doing the vetting of the individuals who come into this country, that they want to be here for the right reasons, that they're not supporters of terrorists and organizations that hate America. And that's what I think is so remarkable is under the Trump administration, we've sped up our process and added integrity to the visa programs, to green cards, to all of that. But also more people are becoming naturalized under this administration than ever before. More people are becoming citizens because we're not just streamlining and building some processes back into our immigration policies. We're also making sure that these individuals that are coming into our country and get that privilege, that they actually are here for the right reasons. The Biden administration let thousands of terrorists into this country. They opened the southern border. They abused our asylum programs, abused our protective programs and visa programs, and we fixed all of it. It's remarkable what President Trump has done, and it's because he's a great leader. He's a visionary, and this man is going to go down as a legend in history as our greatest president ever.
There's a bit of a problem here with some things that Noem has said, and there's a minute of video, and in kind of the conflict of interest, not in the conflict of interest, but let's say the problem. This is a systemic. Every single problem is systemic, even if we don't see it at first sight. What is a systemic problem? It's that you don't have simply a problem, an issue or a problem and an answer or a solution. It is way more complex because everything is tied to everything. I want just to make it very clear that I have said many times that legal ways to immigrate, not only to the United States, but any other country, should be in place. As I am the first one who benefited from that when I left Venezuela. So it is something that is never going to change. And it's only fair that if people do the work and do the actual work into not only immigrating in a legal way, but having this assimilation into the culture, defending their new country, and well, actually loving their new country more than they love their previous country, which, well, basically should be a requirement, then why not? It's only fair. But at the same time, we see that so many instances, I was talking about in that other video about DEI. What does DEI have to do with H1B? Just to remember, H1B are the visas for foreign workers that want to come to the United States to work legally. And it is obvious that it has been exploited. Why? Because it is so much easier to demand a lot more work from somebody who is on a, let's say, an H1B visa, because, you know, if you don't do the work that you're demanded, then you're kicked out of the country, that you're sent back home. And people who come to the United States on an H1B visa can't afford that. But an American, you simply doesn't have that problem. So that is the issue. That is the conflict of interest in terms of H1B visas, that for anybody with a business or a company, it is easier to basically legally exploit people, because if you fire them, if they say, hey, I won't do that, I won't work that many hours, that can be done, okay, then you're out. That is that simple. Isn't you can say, okay, the H1B process is not like that. It is an arduous process. Maybe it costs more in the end. That's what some say, or what some people allege, that the H1B worker costs more than an American. But at the same time, I gave you the reason that you can basically force the H1B worker to do more stuff than an American. That's a thing, for the same price, for the same payment. Okay, so that is the problem here. And the other problem that I see with this is that she says at the beginning,
this country, that they want to be here for the right reasons, that they're not supporters of terrorists and
okay, that it's nice that you want to screen those who are not supporters of terrorism, those who are not, into shady stuff, those who really want to become Americans and want to make America great again. But the problem is that not everybody is like that. Okay, so it's like, of course, it's not like they're going to accept terrorists or nothing of the sort. But the issue I see here is, again, the conflict with DEI. Because the people who have been, how to say that, perjudicado, is that they have been damaged. Damage is not the word. Is that they have been put aside because of DEI for years and years, which is pretty much white men. They think that they deserve another shot at this. This is their time to shine. This deservingly their time to shine. And that is not being a white supremacist, I was saying in my other video. That is being a realist. Because if you have DEI rules in place and you have a limited amount of spots, both in colleges and in works and jobs, then you can imagine that DEI is essentially forcing out some people, and those people are usually white men. So white men are obviously angry, as they say, how come they say there's not enough talent in the United States when it should be the same process to people who study in other countries, and then they know how to do the stuff that Americans don't. No, Americans also have. There's so many great universities in the United States, and it's not like you have people who have not been studying in those countries on those universities, like Americans who have not been studying on this. Americans have been forming themselves and studying for the same amount of years that the people who are abroad. So what is the difference? Why don't you hire American? This is just a question that I'm posing, and I really don't know the answer. I understand that if you are outside, if you are a foreigner and you want to live in the United States, there are plenty of options to become a legal resident of the United States, and I actually encourage anybody to become a citizen or become a resident of any country through legal means. Because why not? Because maybe you deserve that. Maybe your family deserves that, and you want to put in the work to that. But the problem is that at the same time, it's not the foreigner's fault what has happened in the United States with DEI. That's why I tell you that the problem is systemic. That is not as simple as saying that, okay, yeah, just hire American people. That should be the idea. Because why not? But at the same time, you think about all those men who have been relegated for years and haven't been able to enter research groups or research in universities or the proper jobs that they needed to put their career forward, and they have been stalled in their career for years. How do they recover that if they're gonna be disenfranchised by foreigners who, well, are competing to come to the United States and, well, do their work? This is not easy. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Power Pundit. Much love and bliss.